Yeah, and it's a great transition to the NHL and the Metro Division, where you're looking at both New York teams. Really, looking at the division, and you feel pretty confident that the way these teams are lined up are ultimately going to be the teams that this is going to be how they play out with the Hurricanes, the Penguins, and the Rangers. Really outside the Capitals, no one's really threatening those top 3 or 4 spots, and sadly, that does include the New York Islanders.
Well, yeah, because the Islanders, after going through their problems with COVID and everything like that, they were expected to have a nice run, and that nice run has not materialized. Okay, they are, from third place in the division, which is occupied by the Rangers, they are 26 points behind. That's not going to happen. Okay, the wild card, it gets even worse, because when you start looking at the wild card, guess what? You've got Boston in the 2 spot, and the Islanders 17 points behind. Okay? Now, again, 45 games out of 82, they can get hot. We've seen it happen. We've seen Tampa Bay in a similar situation. They end up winning the Stanley Cup. Okay? Right. It is possible. There's a talent level there, and then there's the other little problem. Buyer or seller. Is Varlamov going to get traded?
Yeah, he's missed a lot of time too this season, both with injury and COVID. He didn't play today, for example, because he was on the COVID list through the end of the day.
And they lost to Montreal, who, by the way, is the worst team in the Eastern Conference and maybe even the Western. They've got 27 points.
Yes, they are.
And sure enough, they are the worst team in the NHL.
Yeah, honestly, it sucks because to me it looked like this was the one where it's the white flag on the season. It was an overtime loss, sure, but for it to be this close and for them to ultimately lose the contest, it was bad because there's still a lot of issues with these teams, both in terms of the players, like in terms of just the way this team is performing on the ice, but also just the inconsistency in them finding success. They've allowed the opening goal 11 out of their last 12 games, and they finished today's contest with 22 giveaways. This is not the Islanders we've seen under Barry Trotz. This looked like the Islanders we saw in the early 2000s.
Under Jack Capuano.
Exactly. It has not been pretty for this team.
Well,
who do the Islanders have next?
Well, let's take a look at their schedule.
Because I am going to say,
the Kraken.
I'm going to say you bring up a good point because where you're saying that this might have been rock bottom for them or this might be waving the white flag. I think you'll know in the next game.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Western swing because they've got Seattle, San Jose, the Kings, and the Ducks all out on the West Coast. And then they've got the Avalanche, which is the best team in the NHL.
They can't stop scoring.
And then they got Vancouver.
Right. So they look good as well.
Okay, Vancouver at home and St. Louis at home. Right. All good teams in Colorado, they get them back. So into March. So they're going to be facing a ton of good teams.
The Kraken as well. They've already not only lost to Seattle, they got shut out by Seattle back in the beginning of February. Second to be exact, 3-0. So it's already not looking good for these guys. And they just not performed well at all this season. Really just problems everywhere outside the goaltending. But I think the goaltending, you have to rely on Sorokin so much. It hurts him.
You know what, though? This is where you have to, again, fish or cut bait. Because of all the problems early on in the season, and we knew it was going to have an impact overall. Right. We said this could kill them for the whole year. And when it turns out that it does, what do? Do you wipe it from memory and just move on? Or do you say this is a trend for this team, blow it up? I say wipe the slate clean and move on. Because They do have a good core and they do have a good philosophy and they have an excellent coach. Yes, there are going to be some moves made. Lamoriello always does. But there are also some moves that were questionable. He thought, for example, that adding Char and Parisi were just extra pieces in the puzzle. Well, guess what? Talking about, you want to use a car analogy, there are a couple of classics. Because they don't have a lot left in the tank. They occasionally have flashes of brilliance, but they're not the players they once were. And, that has to drag them down a little bit. And Anders Lee, while he is producing at the level you expect him to, they need more from him. They don't have, and yes, they dug themselves too deep a hole, which is the biggest problem of all. This is a team that has to be clicking on all cylinders in order to win.
Yeah, and transitions to the Rangers talk, because, to me, the Islanders, especially after today, they should really be sellers outside of the core guys like Barzal, Wallstrom, Pellick, Pulick, Sorokin. There should be a lot of offers coming through for guys like Clutterbuck, Bailey, Palmieri, Zacharov. You could get rid of him for free, be doing that team a benefit. But, for a team like the Rangers, to where they had a good week this week, they won today's game against Ottawa 2-1, lost to Detroit in the shootout, beat Boston in the shootout. But they got to find some more scoring and more depth, for sure, if they want to be a true contender in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because the last 3 games, they've been, just inching over teams to get the wins. And, Capo Caco going down is a big loss. That's a big scorer, top 6 player, top 6 forward. He's not there anymore on a team where they're really looking for top 6.
And they're still only 3 points out of first.
Exactly. Yeah. They've definitely been way overexceeding expectations and overperforming, I think, to what we expected they would do. But, this team, for where they're at now, they got to continue building on that and really build that bottom 6, build their defense as well outside of the top 2 lines. Because there's a lot of youth, but a lot of inexperience that is hurting this team, as well as, I think, just better players on the market they really should be trying to trade for. And you see it in the Islanders as well, how an Andy Green or Josh Bailey or Cal Clutterbuck could really help the Rangers.
Exactly. You want to hear something really crazy? Now, of course, it's a 5-game differential between the two. Montreal has played 5 more games than the Islanders. They only have 1 more goal than the Islanders. The Islanders have the lowest offensive output in the Eastern Conference.
Wow.
And arguably, again, the league, and yes, the league. They are the lowest scoring team in the league. Again, per game, they may not be quite down that low, but they're definitely among the bottom. And scoring's been a problem for them all along, but they're as stingy as ever in terms of goals allowed, but they score even less, and that's a killer.
Yeah. And part of the system, because, under Trotz, it's defensively oriented. It's going to favor that. But again, the moves they made over the offseason, and again, the unavailability that they've suffered, from guys being injured or catching COVID or whatnot, it's played a huge factor in this downfall. And this team just hasn't recovered. And
you know what?
They're really not going to.
Lamoriello has had a habit of bringing guys in who provide a little bit of offensive punch. With his Devil teams, you had a Claude Lemieux, you had an Alexander McGillney. These guys are maybe towards the end of their careers, but they still provided the extra that the Devils needed. They weren't necessarily top scorers anymore, but they were still good. Bill Guerin, before he got dealt, matter of fact, he felt that forwards were interchangeable. He built out from D. Okay, that's why the numbers that are in the rafters at the Prudential Center are Marty, Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer, Ken Danigo. Okay,
a lot of defense.
Yep, 1 goalie and 3 defensemen. So, no Devil forwards. But on the other hand, they had a Jason Arnott who got the game-winning goal in 2000. They had solid guys up front, and buyers or sellers. I think the Islanders have dug themselves too deep a hole to be buyers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, you never know. If a bargain comes up there, when it really is all they need, but considering how hot they have to get back in it, it's really a tough call.
Yeah, it feels more like that's going to happen for the Rangers than we'll see for the Islanders.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Islanders ride the season out with what they have, and then make their moves in the offseason. I can't imagine that they're going to make any changes.
I think they're going to ride it off. I mean, if they get hot, That's fine. But I also think that this is not going to be, Barry Trotz's job is not riding on this. I'll tell you that right now, no doubt about it. Neither is Lou Lamoriello's. They're just going to say, hey, we got dealt a bad hand in the first half of the season, and we're never able to recover from it.
All right.
Just a bump in the road.